And that process is great if I got a single machine and particularly a single desktop that I have to worry about. But in our case, we're looking at configuring this potentially for a very large infrastructure. Maybe we're even interested in using BitLocker to encrypt other drives, like data drives that exist in our servers. Also, I want to talk a bit about that RODC scenario that I explained in the beginning of this module, where if I have an RODC that's situated in a location that perhaps is not very well physically protected, that RODC makes for a great use case for the implementation of BitLocker. Go ahead and steal the RODC because you're not going to be able to penetrate that encrypted disk once it disconnects from the network. Now, in order to use BitLocker, recall that a second ago, we actually disabled the need for that Trusted Platform Module chip, that TPM chip, that I mentioned was one of the more secure ways that you could implement BitLocker. But there are other protectors that you can bring to bear in order to just provide a mechanism for you to supply some kind of password or some kind of file that allows BitLocker to then decrypt the disk and allow you to access its contents. There are a variety of these BitLocker protectors you can choose. There's the TPM chip alone. There can also be the TPM with a startup key, so having that USB key in addition to the TPM chip. You could do TPM and PIN, so punching in a multi-character PIN in addition to the TPM chip. Or the TPM, the PIN, and the startup key all in combination to unencrypt that disk with what are presumably very, very sensitive documents. Now, because we can't use the TPM chip here in our VMware Workstation environment, we're limited to one of the last three items down here, which is the startup key, so that USB drive, a separate password, which we could punch in, which we sort of already simulated there in that last clip, or the use of an Active Directory account or group as the mechanism to unencrypt the laptop or the disk. These Active Directory accounts, as you can probably guess, make it easy to unencrypt volumes by just being a member of a particular Active Directory group. They can also be useful in certain special use cases, like specifically with Windows clusters and the use of shared volumes in Windows failover clusters.